Hey, viewers and viewers, my name is General Red Strategist, and welcome back to Say Being Hunted. It's time to continue on, actually, with this map, another podcast-style episode and all that. Episode 555, I do believe, ladies and gentlemen. So, the big news, actually, at the moment, as I start this recording, well, not really big news, just, I suppose, the appropriate way to start this video off, is more that, well, as I'm going to record this, it's a couple of days, actually, since I just got back down to my flat here in the south of England after visiting friends and family over the Easter period. Because the thing is, I always get about 2 weeks off, Easter leave from work and all that. And the thing is, whenever I get work leave off and all that, of course I always take an opportunity just to go and visit friends, visit family up in the north of England. So, for the first week of my Easter leave, I drove up and saw how people were getting on, and now I'm back down. I came back down after about a week or so, so I'm back here. It's an opportunity for me to just relax and, as the new academic term approaches, just to start getting prepared for that. So, that's very much the topic of conversation, actually, for this episode, me rambling about just what I did over the Easter period and all that. So, thing is, like, I basically, whenever I go up, back up north, there are certain things that I always tend to do, because it's kind of almost like a tradition, for me and my family to do them. So, for example, I've talked about, in the past, how sometimes me, and family members, we like to go over to the town of Clitheroe, in East Lancashire, and, we might, go and visit the Bowl and Brewery and all that, where they have, like, the big bar, restaurant, things like that, artisan food shop. Really nice place. Again, if you're ever going to go to the north of England, you ever find yourself in Lancashire and you're exploring East Lancashire, Clitheroe's a town is always nice to go, because there's more to it than just the Bolton Brewery. There's other stuff you can see and do as well, like the castle, for instance, on top of the hill. It's a bit of a ruin, but it has a museum. Great place to go and visit, especially if you're into a bit of castle history and whatever else have you. So, indeed, that's a definite recommendation from me right there. But yeah, as usual, we went to Bolton Brewery, and he said brewery, and we had a drink, had a meal, nice lunch, pretty good. Had a nice steak and ale pie, very delicious. Nice sort of flaky pastry, and nice tender meat, good taste to it, essentially. And nice big chunky chips, and a little bowl of mushy peas to go along with it, so it was very delicious, very tasty. But, did other stuff as well, of course, while I was up. Probably one of the highlights, actually, was that me and some members of my family went for a big walk, because we always tend to try and do that whenever I come up. Go for a nice big walk around somewhere nice out in the countryside. And on this occasion, we actually didn't drive too far away from my old folks' house. We just went to the little village where one of my sets of grandparents lived. Well, technically one of them still lives there, because she's still alive and all that, but so essentially we went there, and we did a walk around some of the backcountry lanes, up the hills, just sort of east of the village, which is a route that I've not wandered in years. Probably last time I did a walk around that area was when I was a teenager. Screw it, I might as well freaking, oh god, I'm falling down, what am I doing? Just to give sort of an idea of what sort of area of Lancashire we're talking about. We're talking about a village called Scorton, which is sort of between, roughly kind of halfway between the cities of Lancaster and Preston. And, up the back of Scorton, there's this, we call it the Top Road. If you search around on Google Maps, you'll find things like Higher Lane, things like that it's called. So it's that kind of area. We sort of basically took this big circle of a route that started out on the top road and sort of went round via Higher Lane, then sort of down via the Grisdale Dock Reservoir, and then back round again to where we started. So a big circle and all that. It's like a circle around a hill called Nicky Nook, which, if you want to take an alternate route, you could sort of go up and over Nicky Nook, but that's a route which often is quite well trodden in terms of a lot of tourists and people who visit Scorton, they tend to sort of go and do that route. So alternatively, my family likes to sometimes find alternate routes which kind of aren't so busy and are more sort of peaceful and tranquil. And sort of going down by Grisdale Dock, I imagine tends to be one of those sort of slightly more quieter, more peaceful routes. Because I imagine most people who visit Scorton probably, you know, they climb to the top of Nicky Nook, they go to the trig point, the little cairn of stones that's up there that marks the highest point of the hill, and then they probably, you know, chill out. Maybe if they have like a thermos of tea or coffee or whatever, they probably chill out there, have a drink, take in the scenery. Because the thing about Nicky Nook as a hill is, when you stand on the top of it, you do get some pretty magnificent views out across Lancashire towards the coast. You know, I mean, the one thing that kind of spoils the view a little bit from there is you can see all the way to Heysham. And if you know anything about Heysham, Heysham is a port town in Lancashire, and apart from being a major departure point for things like sea truck ferries to Northern and the Republic of Ireland, it also has a big nuclear power station with 2 huge reactors. So kind of spoils the view of it, because literally from the top of Nicky Nook you can see all the way down to the coast, and you can see all the way to Heysham, and you can just see this giant blocky fucking building on the horizon, which is basically the reactor casings of the Heysham nuclear power station. But you know, if you sort of ignore that, the rest of the view is quite nice, because you can sort of see out towards the Irish Sea. It's pretty good. It's a great view and all that. So yeah, most people, you know, visiting Scorton who go walking, they tend to go up Nicky Nook because it's kind of a favourite destination. They like to go to the trig point, get the views, maybe take a few pictures, have a thermos of coffee or tea or whatever, and then probably they just climb back down the same route they came, back to their cars and all that. But with a bit more local knowledge, you know, you can sort of explore that area a bit more widely. You can sort of then find a path that goes down the back of Nicky Nook towards Grisdale Dock Reservoir, where it's this very sort of narrow country path, very sort of tranquil, shaded by trees. You got the reservoir on one side of you, and just like basically woodland and steep embankments on the other. So it's an interesting little path, very very serene, like I say. And you know, you can sort of picture the kind of route it is. It's basically like back country lanes, English country backwater and all that. So the lanes are like very narrow. There's barely ever any traffic on them, because really the only traffic you'll get on them is occasional tractors and farm machinery, or occasionally, you know, things like SUVs or cars going to and from farms, and of course that's very rare. You know, you probably only see that at certain times of the week. So it's always very, very quiet. The thing is, you know, because it's now spring and all that, as you can imagine, the route that we took, you go past a few fields, and of course all the lambs are out. So it's kind of funny just watching watching animals just being animals. So there was that. But you know, it's a good route. If you're ever up in that region of the country and you like countryside walks, things like that, Scorton, it's a good one. Scorton also has a couple of amenities, by way of things like cafes, things like that you can visit. They have the Priory, which is kind of like a pub restaurant, and then they have the Barn, which is, first and foremost, well, it's a mix of things. It's part garden centre, part sort of cafe restaurant, part gift shop. It's nice. It's nice for a day out, you know. Go and have a coffee. Well, not necessarily a full day out, but a morning out, I would say. Go and have a coffee in the cafe restaurant. You know, maybe a snack, a bite to eat, and then maybe go walking afterwards or something, or maybe the other way around. Go for a walk somewhere around Scorton, and then maybe stop by the barn afterwards. Who knows? You know, I'm not dictating your life and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Something for you to decide if you're ever up in that region. So that's always a good one. Is this device piece over here unguarded? Oh no, it's not. There are robots there. I just couldn't hear the blip bloppity blue blaring. Right, what do we do? Shall we just continue using alarm clocks? I think we will. Dump that one there. So yeah, that was probably the highlight really of actually visiting back up north, to be with friends and family and all that. Of course I visited Phil as well, me and him on a Monday afternoon. Oh, well shoot, I just wasted a frickin' thing. Wait, come here. Can I get into iron sights, please? There we go. I'm gonna get you. Oh, you don't. You miss me, boy. Come here. Why is it that in certain FPS games I play, iron sights seem to do that? Weird. No, I don't want the broken shotgun. You know, and there goes my fucking clock. I know that was raw meat that I just had then, which I could have used, but it's fine. Got some shotgun ammo as well. It's great. And give me this bad boy. Boom. Lovely. Right. Now I need to look for wisps before they disappear. And again, they're all going high up in the air, aren't they, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. There'll be somewhere around that I can go. Hold on. Was there a... Oh, wait, there's a wisp over here. We can just follow this one, actually, can't we? Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else I did while I was up over Easter? Visited my sister, you know, at her place. Had a, you know, this time, a nice evening over at hers. A pizza night, basically. That was pretty good. Had a quiz and all that. It was awesome. Friggin' Easter lunch on Sunday with the grandmother from the mother's side of the family. She came round to the there's the device piece over there. She came round to my parents' house. You know, my sister came over as well. We had a nice big Easter lunch. And afterwards, you know, just a nice chill out and all that. So, you know, nothing too much, just nice, you know, nice time. Seeing how people, friends and family-wise, were all doing and all that. Right, let me put that there. There we go. Get this out. So I'll approach down from the other side. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, I hope you guys, you know, had an awesome little Easter as well and all that. And hope you haven't pigged out too much on chocolate eggs, eh? How many did you get this year? Yeah. I would talk about, you know, the significance of Easter and all that, but nah. For most people, it's chocolate eggs. Okay, let me sip some tea. Lovely. Trying to think though, actually, you know, just going back to the subject of a moment ago, thinking about good sort of walking routes in Lancashire. There are other ones, of course, that I have mentioned before in my Surrey Being Hunted videos, which I won't kind of go into too much detail about. I think I've talked, for example, about the Tolkien Trail and sort of up near the River Hodder, which is not too far from Clitheroe. That's a good sort of route to go and all that. They call it the Tolkien Trail because apparently it's a part of the country which very much inspired J.R.R. Tolkien when he was, you know, thinking of his destinations, his settings, things like that, the Shire, etc., in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, apparently. I mean, I don't know too much about J.R.R. Tolkien, to be honest, but that's what I've been told by people, so citation needed perhaps, but, you know, I'm just saying what I've been told and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So there's that area, that's always a good walk to go. And there's other ones as well, you know. Thing is, obviously you've got running throughout a good section of West Lancashire, you've got the Lancaster Canal, you know, old sort of Georgian era canal that was dug out from, you know, quite a huge swathe of Lancashire. Runs through a lot of like the small towns in West Lancashire. So, for example, places like Billsborough, Garstang, etc., etc. Then, you know, up towards Goldgate and then into Lancaster. Because, you know, obviously, if you know a bit about the history of UK infrastructure, you know that obviously in the late sort of Georgian period, early Victorian, obviously before the advent really of mass railways, of course, you know, engineers dug out whole networks really of canals that were designed for things like horse-towed barges for moving cargo and things like that around. You know, a lot of those canals do still exist here in the UK, and they're now just, you know, footpaths through the countryside that you can go along, you know, go walking down the towpath and all that, and some of them you can go walking quite far. So there's another suggestion right there, folks. I'm thinking we just get onto the jetty here and head back to the centre so we can deposit these device pieces, and then we'll probably wrap the old episode up and all that. Also, I better start drinking my tea down. Once again, it's getting kind of lukewarm, but it'll still have a bit of heat in it just yet right now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, right, I'll jump over here, and I'll see you back on the centre island in a second, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are, there we go. Alright. God, yeah, I forgot this jetty had actually spawned in a bit of a weird position with these rocks through it, but it's not too much of a problem. Well, jeez. Okay, I kind of don't want to be in the water, that's fine. We'll just have to swim out and hope that old Bog Boy, the old sea beast, doesn't suddenly show up all at once. Give me all that. I hear that squire in the background. There we go. It is a little known fact about gaming, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're trying to jump your way up a steep surface even, going in strange voices always helps. Right. You know, one thing I'm actually kind of thankful for, though, about, when I went to visit friends and family back up north this time around, was just on both occasions going up north and then coming back again. Oh god, the riders are spawning. That's not good. On both occasions, the journey was actually quite uneventful. Because the thing is, obviously, it's quite a long drive from where I currently live now in the south to get back to my family home in the north in Lancashire. So, at minimum, you'll be looking like a drive of somewhere in the region of 3.5 hours. And if traffic is heavy, it can potentially be more than that. So whenever I travel up, I always tend to set off quite early in the morning, so I can try and avoid as much of the traffic as possible. So let me actually deposit those. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go to the East Jetty, and then we'll wrap the episode up. So yeah, it was a really uneventful drive, which I'm quite thankful, because that's kind of what you want when you're motorway driving for prolonged periods of time. Because Lord knows, sometimes when I've driven on the motorway in the past, you get some real idiot drivers. People who just middle lane hog, people who weave between lanes for no reason. And you think, why are you in the overtake lane when you don't need to be? Things like that. Or, people swerving suddenly and cutting across to try and reach an exit as they realise they need to come off. And they, are just driving in a very generally dangerous way. But, this time round, as has been the case actually quite frequently the last few times I've come up, it's been a very uneventful drive, really, which is what you want. Like I say, it's good when you set off early in the morning, because ideally, what you want to do on my route is kind of get through Birmingham before the real sort of rush hour traffic hits, because Birmingham usually always gets super freaking busy and all that. Anyway, right, that's enough gassing from me. I think we'll wrap up here. So, in the next episode, we'll be across to the East Island, the final island on this particular map, to get the final 3 device pieces. And then we'll have done another little default playthrough and all that, ladies and gents, which is pretty good. Alright, so Facebook and Twitter links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. And if you enjoyed, and like is of course always appreciated, well, that I'm signing off now. Goodbye, all. Fuck. Well, fuck you. And you. God damn these gits. Shit. Go, get out of here. And you. Okay, well, looks like we're in a freaking firefight straight away. We find these bloody officers. Never mind, oh, there's one. God, there's loads of them. Shit. Where are you? Go, keep moving. Fucking away from this douchebag over here who's fucking trying to kill me. Fuck. Gotta watch out for my armour. And you. Friggin' hell. We're using up a lot of bloody diesel gewehr ammo here. God, he's around somewhere. I don't know where he is. Oof.